We have a group of primarily group of elitist entrepreneurs from old bloodlines. They are parasites. They are parasites that feed off the blood of nations. Dare I say they may be vampires or lizard people. But the one thing we can akin them to is parasites. So you have the world population that is under the banners of nations. America, China, India, Russia, the European Union. And so when he starts to talk about collaboration, think of collaboration as being a needle where you can extract money from those nations. All right. So now let's go back and let's listen to what he was saying. He said, where there's things we'll be able to collaborate. The first thing he mentioned was, I don't know if I want to say it. The first thing he mentioned was the upcoming demic, right? And he said, there's things that affect us all. So that's a way for them to pull money out of the system. The next thing was the wildfires. The wildfires.
As firefighters continue to face the infernos, questions arise about what caused the nightmare situation and who should be blamed for it. Detectives in Los Angeles are investigating the possible sources of the wildfires, and so far they have ruled out the most common cause of infernos in the United States, which is lightning. There's also no official indication of arson and utility lines either, though investigations are still ongoing. Experts say climate change has played a key role in driving these blazes. Just 2 years ago, California's wet weather brought a huge growth of vegetation that dried out last year. The vegetation was ready to burn in the latest wildfires across Los Angeles.
That's something that we all have to deal with, but we know that they're directly attributing the wildfires to climate. So that's a way they can extract money by saying, oh, the climate is changing, and so we need to spend money on addressing this, right? The third one he said was climate, wildfires, terrorism. Really not terrorism, but it was cyber terrorism. That's another way they can extract money out of the system. Hold on one second. We're about to get to the bottom of this, ladies and gentlemen. This don't make no sense whatsoever. Welcome to the Dark Waters channel, where we explore mysteries, figure out the truth, dive into politics, and anything else you want to know about. That's what we doing over here, baby. Let's go. I don't know if my first video today is going to make it through the algorithm screen check, because I kind of spazzed out a little bit, probably more than I should have, over the pardons. But let's get focused on the lizards again at the World Economic Forum. For those of you who've been watching me for a little while and you don't understand why I call them lizard people, just think of it as a friendly way of mocking them. And then at the same time, realize that some of these people can't possibly be human. And I can't tell you what they is, but I know they're not like you and me. When they go out to dinner with their families, they not sitting there cutting with the food and they're doing like this, eating the food. You know what I'm saying? They're eating the dogs and they're eating the cats is what these people are doing, clearly. But let's go into the World Economic Forum seems to be a little excited about Donald Trump coming to meet with them on the 25th. And it begs the question that many of you would have. Well, why would he go and talk to them right after he was inaugurated? And I'll state this to you clearly. If you have an enemy that has tried to kill you, who has tried to put you in prison, who has tried to do everything possible to hurt you, and once you're in power and you have all the power and the might in the entire world behind you, you pay them a visit. You walk on in there. Now, I'm glad he's doing it virtually, because I don't believe he needs to go to where these crazy people at. But you need to make a statement to them and make them understand that, hey, America's back in business. If you either you gonna get down or you gonna lay down. You understand? Get down or lay down. That's what I believe he's gonna do on the 25th. That's what I'm preparing you for, because I want you, as the Stankonia nation, long live Stankonia, as the swimmers of the Dark Waters family, I want you to understand that you have the information, that we are ahead of everybody else. So when they get to talking about Davos, oh, Trump was going to Davos, you'd be like, yeah, we went into that. We passed that. For those of you who are confused, there's the Dark Waters, which people swim in, And then there's a landmass that's called Stankonia. You can move from Stankonia into the dark waters anytime you want to, baby. And you can swim, and then you go back on land and go hang out in Stankonia with the Stankonian ambassador. Let's go. Let's see what they're saying.
Trump will address the World Economic Forum, not in person, but virtually, literally 2 days after he takes office.
See what I'm saying? Look at her. Don't something look like it's wrong with this woman? Look at her. I'm sorry, but don't look like something wrong with this woman. Look at her. Ladies, look at her. Because some of the guys be lacking discernment. They see a little waist, they see a little boobs. You know what I'm saying? They be like, ooh, she fine. Then she take you in the back room and just and then you never come out again.
How did you pull this off?
So, you know that President-elect Trump has been to Davos twice in
2018
person.
and 2020.
Yeah, as he's the only sitting U.S. president that has been to Davos twice. He really likes it here. You know, he's a businessman. He likes to also meet the global business people to hear their input and have a discussion. And for me, it's great that he, 2 days after the inauguration, is live on video link with us here in Davos.
He is so disturbing, isn't he? I mean, it's something disturbing about it. Look at him, live on the video, on there. Isn't it? Is it me, or is it just utterly disturbing? It's like cringy. It makes my insides twist.
With 3,000 participants, and he's not only giving a speech, but he's also then having an interaction with some key CEOs. That's what he likes.
Well, so the interaction is going to be much anticipated along with what he has to say. But what's the expectation? What are you picking up in terms of what people would like to hear from President Trump?
If you got to look like this and give off this vibe to be like uber rich, I don't ever want to be uber rich. I mean, that would mean that I would have to like lose all the weight, which I'm great with losing weight. But then I had to get to the point where I'm all gaunt in the face and I'm like, oh. And then when I talk to you, I'll be like, yes, this is the dark waters. And yes, you have come here to enjoy the most enjoyable entertainment in the world. I want you to enjoy the entertainment, ladies and gentlemen. You shall be entertained, and things shall be extraordinary for you. Don't get too deep into the dark waters, or else you may drown. And I will not save you because there are no lifeboats in the waters. I mean, it's just, what? What's wrong with it?
Would be the key questions that they would like him to address, beyond tariffs and so on and so forth.
So for him in the U.S., I think he won the elections on the two I's, fighting inflation and on immigration. So I think we will see very soon some steps on the immigration.
Yeah, because y'all the ones that want to open borders and immigration everywhere. Yeah. And he going to come talk to y'all about this inflation. But see, what they want to talk to him about, little lizard lady, is the tariffs. Because, see, the tariffs destroy their business. I know I be clowning. Y'all know I be joking and clowning a lot. But think about it. For example, Donald Trump comes out. He says, hey, lizard people, y'all down in Mexico. If y'all president don't get it together, I'm going to hit y'all with a 25% tariff. I say, oh, shit, 25%? You can't sell shit into America unless it's 25% markup. Oh, hell. You got to do something. So you're going to walk around with them and be like, yeah, we're going to go and start doing tariffs. And we're going to do the most beautiful, biggest, most amazing tariffs there is. And he'll be like, no, please don't do no tariffs on us, please. Oh, tariffs is like sunlight to lizard vampires. No tariffs. Oh, please, no.
Side, but on the inflation, it's a more of a mixed thing. So he will need to also then share what is his economic policy to keep the growth going, but also making sure that inflation is not coming back.
On inflation, since you said that is likely to be one of the big focus areas, the concern is that with the tariffs, whether it's 10, 20 or as high as 60%, which has been the threat, that could have an inflationary impact. What is the expectation that you're going with?
Oh, they scared. Oh, they scared. These lizards is scared. I shouldn't be cutting it off like this, but I feel like I need to do some explaining. So allow me to do some explaining. You got to understand, these are the same people who support the monetary policy that leads to inflation. What we've been going through is called asset inflation. When the Fed prints more money and more money and more money and more money, the people who have real assets, the value of their assets inflate. Because there's more dollars chasing after all the same goods. This is what inflation is. And so these people get rich on inflation while you and I get poor on inflation. And so what you hear her saying is, you know, he's talking about 20% tariffs and 60% tariffs. And tariffs will make inflation worse. No, it won't. No. Tariffs means he takes money out of their damn pocket. Yeah, because now when they go to sell their goods, it's a markup on their goods. And understand, the central hub for them to make all their products is China. So he says, I'm going to hit your central hub with a tariff, and we're going to take the tariff, we're going to pay off the American debt. And so now we don't owe no money to the Federal Reserve. So we getting free from the slavery of the Federal Reserve. And Trump has said, give us free. All right, does it make sense? Am I making sense to you? All right, I don't know, but I want you to get it, but I want it to be fun while you get it. So let's get back to the lizards.
In terms of just how severe the tariffs are likely to be and the implications and the impact on that on world trade as well as U.S. inflation.
Oh, they scared. Look at her. Yeah, they know he coming. Yeah. Bad boys. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you?
So on inflation, of course, tariffs can play a role. But we also know from Trump 1.0, his first period, now we're Trump 2.0, that he used also tariffs to negotiate. And he already had a call with President Xi Jinping of China yesterday, and they spoke and also discussed many issues and topics. So I think on the tariffs, we'll also see what it really ends with. I think he's going to use it as a negotiating position, especially where he feels that the U.S. has a big trade deficit. And of course, the biggest trade deficit he has with China. He also has a trade deficit with Europe, but that is a little bit depending on how you look at it. If you also add services and you add digital trade, it's pretty much the same. And I think digital trade and services also plays a big role in the trade with India.
Well, you talked about his ability to negotiate deals. I'll ask you this in the context of what we're likely to see happen as far as TikTok is concerned. At this point in time, it still faces an uncertain future. It's already gone dark in the U.S. To meet that Sunday deadline. But President Trump has said that he is likely to provide a 60 to 90-day window as a reprieve. Would that be an indication, if that were to go through, would that be an indication of his willingness to do business with China?
So many premises in that question. Let's see what will happen with TikTok. I think what President Trump has said, that he wants American owners. And until there is no American owners, I guess he will keep the policy as it is today, following the Supreme Court decision. But
can I interject right here, ladies and gentlemen? I know y'all listening, and I'm going to start apologizing for my interjections. But it's kind of like one of them things where you see a purple pig flying through a red rainbow, and it's got like it's raining gummy bears when you hear what they're saying. It's like that. Because my brain hears them talking about TikTok. And you got to understand. See, TikTok was collecting all kind of American citizens' data. So the issue we had was the Chinese owners of TikTok had access to all your data. But it's owned by a Chinese company. TikTok's parent company is owned by a Chinese gentleman. He used to work for Mark Zuckerberg, and that's cool. But nonetheless, it's Chinese owned, with ties back to Chinese communist government. And so what this conversation is saying to me is, reading between the lines, is like, okay, we're talking about data. We're talking about information. It seems as if Trump is willing to protect the information of the American people. You understand what I'm saying? And when you really think about it, watch this. TikTok targets a very young generation. Like, I got a TikTok account, but I don't use that crap because every time I go over there, somebody real young acting a fool. But could you imagine if you capture the attention of an entire generation of youth, you capture the data of an entire generation of American youths, and on top of that, you have the ability to systematically create trends through your platform. And those trends are what ends up shaping and molding individuals. Now, I'm going to share a secret with you. If you made it this far in the video, I'm going to share something with you that you probably never heard before. And this is G14 classified from the kingdom of God itself. One day, I'm sitting there outside smoking my cigar and I'm talking to God. And I said, God, I want to know a secret that I can share with people once I master it. And I start to meditate on scripture. You know, when people talk about meditate on the word, the way you meditate on the word is you grab a scripture. Like, here go my book on Proverbs, right? Watch this. And you'll grab a scripture like Proverbs 26:5. And you get to the last verse. It says, liars hate their victims. Flatterers sabotage trust. Now, when you meditate on the word, you just sit there and you keep repeating it over and over. Liars hate their victims. And flatterers sabotage trust. And you keep focusing on that over and over, and you keep repeating it, and you keep thinking about it, and then you start applying that to scenarios in your life. So you'll think about, okay, if a liar does this, which it says liars hate their victims, then you start looking about the people in your life who've been lying to you and the outcome of that person's lie. So this person lied, and this is what happened. And I was the victim of that lie, so that meant that person hated me. So that means that when somebody else starts to lie to me, in actuality, they hate me because they're lying to me. And so the next time you come across a liar, you realize that person really hates you, the person that's lying to you. And now let's watch this. We'll extrapolate that out to the news media. The news media lies to us because they hate us. Because God's word says liars hate their victims. Flatterers sabotage trust. So when I see The View lying to me, I realize as an American citizen, they hate me. Do you get it? No. But that's what meditating on the word of the Lord is. You have to sit there and you plot on that word and you apply it to different scenarios in your life. All right. Now that you understand what I'm saying with that, now let's get to what the point I was going to make is this. I'm sitting there and I'm saying, the wealth of the wicked is laid up for the righteous. The wealth of the wicked is laid up for the righteous. And I'm just studying it. And I'm just sitting there. What does this mean? How does it work? And it dawns on me. There are trends that happen year in, year out, over and over and over again. Hold on, I got to pause this. I'm sorry, I'm back. What I was trying to say is, I was talking about the trends, and then it dawned on me that when the Bible says the wealth of the wicked is laid up for the righteous, that the wealth is laid up in trends. For example, if anybody's ever traded a stock chart, you know, there's trend lines, right? If you ever seen clothing, there's clothing trends that recycle. If you look at what happens in the movies, they remake the old movies because those old movies are trends. So the wealth of the wicked is laid up in trends. For some of you, you'll get it. The rest of you won't get it. But for those of you who get what I'm saying, you will. I just gave you a beautiful secret. I mean, an amazing, gorgeous secret revelation. Let's get back to the lizards.
With President Trump, there's also very interesting then to see what will now the policies be on, for example, immigration, because there are dilemmas there too. There's another topic that is up there. You know, 7 million people work in the construction business in the U.S. 2 million of them are probably then illegal immigrants. And if you then send them back, what will happen to prices and inflation? So I think there will be trade-offs too. But I think you will see less people coming over the borders. We already see that through the Mexican border, and maybe he will come up with a policy that is clearer. You can come to the U.S., but you have to apply. If you come yourself and illegally, there is no way. That's not the path to go to the U.S.
Yes, and what will all of this, as you pointed out, the impact on the construction sector, and what will all of this mean for U.S. growth is, of course, a question to watch. But let's talk about Europe as well. And you've got the German Chancellor here, you've got Ursula von der Leyen of the EU coming in as well, along with a whole host of other business leaders. What's the mood? What's the feeling now in terms of how 2025 is likely to shape up for Europe?
So the growth in Europe is not what it should be, that's for sure. But there's also countries that are doing much better than others. Look at Spain and Greece. Spain is today the Western economy that has the most.
As a spokesman, this guy seems a lot less bloodthirsty than Klaus Schwab. I mean, he's an improvement as a spokesperson over Klaus, because Klaus will be like, she'd be like, well, Klaus, what is the expectation for Europe? I expect blood and destruction, and we shall have our new world order. We shall open the borders, and we shall have rape gangs running the streets. I am Klaus. Hear me roar. So he's a little more polished than Klaus, but he's still a lizard. Look at him. And you have to pay attention to what he's saying. And guys, I'm breaking up what's being said because there's this lizard witchcraft that's going on that makes you kind of tune out, and you got to listen to what he's saying. But it's almost as if you're put in a trance when you listen. Watch, I'm going to let y'all go in a trance for a little while, and I'll break you out of it again.
Most substantial growth of all OECD countries. And also Greece is doing much better. They were kind of written off 10 years ago. Today, it's a country that used to be the engine of the European growth. Germany that is in trouble. But I think also with reforms in Germany, we should never write off Germany. I think in a few years, they are an industrial engine. So they will come back, but of course, they have to see also some structural changes to revive growth.
Let's talk about Asia as well. And of course, I'll start by talking to you about China and the outlook there as far as China is concerned. The measures already taken, but the anticipation and hope of further stimulus measures from China. How do you see what's going on there?
We will know more when Vice Premier Mr. Ding speaks to the Davos community in the opening sequence after Ursula von der Leyen on Tuesday. But in addition to slowing growth, of course, China is also faced with some structural challenges. Sinking workforce, they also have a property market they have to deal with, and they have some deflation also. So there are like these three Ds for them, deflation and also then demography and then the debt piece in addition related to the property market. So in addition to stimulus that I think will come, I think they will also have to address these more structural challenges. But the retirement age is pretty low in China. So if they increase the retirement age, they can also then make up for the decrease in the workforce, and they can also have incentivize more women working. So they have their tools, and they're still expecting 4 to 5% growth this year, and that's also in our predictions.
So you just heard him lay out the plan for China and what they plan on doing in China and pushing for in China. Did you hear it, or did you get caught in a trance? Did you hear it, or did the lizard word magic salad get caught up in your brain and start massaging on the veins and vessels inside of your brain? That's why I keep interrupting you, because I need you to hear it. So we can expect out of China for there to be an increase in the retirement age, because he's proposing a plan. You can expect out of China that more women will go to work. And he was talking about deflation and money printing. And it was one more thing. But this is why I tell you, you kind of got to listen to what these people say. You don't kind of, you really have to listen to what these people are saying. If you were to program an AI to transcribe what these people say in their meetings and then search the internet for supporting evidence, you would see that everything that they've said in their past meetings has been instituted in these nations. I haven't done it. I don't want to do it. I'll tell you why I don't want to do it. Because quite frankly, I don't want to be tempted with the information. I'm just going to be real with you. It's only like I don't want to be tempted with that, because when you tap into that kind of stuff and you see, okay, if person A says this is going to happen and then it happens, you see it happening for 15 years, then they have a track record of making stuff work. And so you'll find ways to side with evil, even though you don't really need to be siding with evil. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm not going, it's like I'm not going to bite that damn apple. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to be like, Eve, what you doing with that damn apple? Well, Satan gave it to me. Girl, put that damn apple down. Put the damn apple down, girl. But he said, I don't give a damn what that serpent. Put that damn apple down, girl. Lord, I'm about to put hands on her because she got this apple. Son, don't put hands on her. Just throw the apple away. Put the damn apple down. I ain't picking up that apple. Yeah, I'm not picking up that apple. I picked it up before, and I don't want the apple. Trust me, you don't want that apple. Because you're going to change, man. You're going to change. Now, let's keep going. People say they could deal with a long video. Let's see if you can truly deal with a long video.
The theme of Davos 2025 is collaboration in an intelligence age. But, we're seeing more confrontation than collaboration. And your own report that you've done with McKinsey puts a question mark on how much collaboration is likely or even possible.
Because nobody trusts them. You saw my videos on trust. And she's look how upset she is. How much collaboration, like we're losing, how much collaboration is likely or even possible with what's going on? What are we going to do? They don't trust us. And they have the AI and they're using the AI against us. And they're figuring out that we come from under the ground and we're lizard people. And what are we going to do? Oh.
So where do we go from here?
Where do we go from here? They don't trust us.
An era of confrontation with the hope of collaboration.
It is true that if you look at not this backdrop, but the geopolitical backdrop. And
I'm going to give these people credit. Unlike us, these lizards are grounded in reality. Yeah. They know when they messed up. They got enough sense to sit there and say, okay, the climate is changing and we need to try and keep our agenda, but change course a little bit. They go spend the money to research the public sentiment and says, okay, the public is turned against us. Even though they could have just asked me, they could have called the red phone in the Stankonia ambassador's office and said, Ambassador, we feel like the people are turned against us. And I'm like, you're damn right they're turned against you. Go jump in a hole and die and burn in hell. But nonetheless, they're honest about their agenda. And they're even open about their agenda.
That we are faced with, it's the most challenging in generations. That's for sure, because you have conflicts and you have also severe competition. But what we are arguing, even in a situation where, for example, G2, US and China, or even G3, if you then include India in this, and G4 if you include EU, will be in their national interest in some areas to collaborate. So before it was a different approach, maybe like win-win approach, but today it will be based on national interest. But I do think that national interest also will lead to collaboration. For example, the bird flu that we're seeing now spreading in the US, to deal with future pandemics, we have to work together. We're in the same boat when it comes to, for example, the wildfires we're seeing now in Los Angeles. This is a common challenge for the whole humanity. Look at, for example, cybercrime. Every year we lose $2 trillion US.
Okay, stop. Yeah, I'm making sure y'all got it. Let's go back. Because it's lizard, wizard words. Let's listen again.
Confrontation with the hope of collaboration.
It is true that if you look at not this backdrop, but the geopolitical backdrop that we are faced with, it's the most challenging in generations. That's for sure, because you have conflicts and you have also severe competition. But what we are arguing, even in a situation where, for example, G2,
meaning two global powers, And he's going to designate the two global powers as America and China.
U.S. and China.
Got it?
Or even G3.
G3, U.S., China, India, which is amazing that they left Russia out of it.
If you then include India in this, and G4 if you include EU.
So G4, so wow, they plan on destroying Russia. G1, America. G2, G1, America, G2, America and China. G3, America, China, India. G4, America, China, India, and the European Union. They're like, screw you, Russia, we're going to destroy you. Got it? Get it? Good. Watch this.
Will be in their national interest in some areas to collaborate. So
National interest to collaborate. So how do they get everybody to collaborate? Here we go. Listen to how he explains you get people to collaborate. One of them has to do with the wildfires, which is directly attributed to climate. Climate. I'm class suave. And the other one is directly attributed to, listen.
So before it was a different approach, maybe like win-win approach, but today it will be based on national interest. But I do think that national interest also will lead to collaboration. For example, the bird flu that we're seeing now spreading in the U.S.
There's one that will lead to collaboration. So we need these people to collaborate. These are the tools we have at our disposal. Listen.
To deal with future pandemics, we have to work together. We're in the same boat when it comes to, for example, the wildfires we're seeing now.
The wildfires. What the hell is a wildfire?
Los Angeles. This is a common challenge for the whole humanity. Look at, for example, cybercrime. Every year we lose
the cyber attacks.
$2 trillion and increasing in crime from cyber. I think everyone wants to fight this, every responsible government. So in these pockets and these areas, I think we can collaborate.
Okay, got it. Now, what exactly does collaboration mean? I mean, think about it. Let's take you, who's listening to this. If you've got this far, then you deserve this level of understanding, because the average person not going to listen this long. They be like, I got bored. You know, he didn't say anything too exciting. I just want to go to the next video. Wake up. But watch this. Let me give you this. We have a group of primarily group of elitist entrepreneurs from old bloodlines. They are parasites. They are parasites that feed off the blood of nations. Dare I say they may be vampires or lizard people. But the one thing we can akin them to is parasites. So you have the world population that is under the banners of nations. America, China, India, Russia, the European Union. And so when he starts to talk about collaboration, think of collaboration as being a needle where you can extract money from those nations. All right. So now let's go back and let's listen to what he was saying. He said, where there's things we'll be able to collaborate. The first thing he mentioned was, I don't know if I want to say it. The first thing he mentioned was the upcoming demic, right? And he said, there's things that affect us all. So that's a way for them to pull money out of the system. The next thing was the wildfires. The wildfires. That's something that we all have to deal with. But we know that they're directly attributing the wildfires to climate. So that's a way they can extract money by saying, oh, the climate is changing, and so we need to spend money on addressing this, right? The third one he said was climate, wildfires, terrorism. Really not terrorism, but it was cyber terrorism. That's another way they can extract money out of the system. I feel like he said a fourth one, but I think you're getting the point. Imagine, and this is what they are. They are parasitic beings that literally thrive off of the existence of humanity. The minute, and this is what's going on right now, which has them shook. You see, humanity wasn't paying attention to them because, you know, it's kind of like you got a leech on you. You jumped in a swamp and you got a little leech on your leg. And I mean, you swimming around, you don't understand that leech is on your leg when you're in that water. Now when you come out and you start drying off, you're like, what the hell is this on my leg? Now imagine the American people, the Russian people, the Indian people, even the Chinese people, the world population realizing that they got leeches, baby. But the people who realize about the leeches first is the Americans. And now the leeches, and then the leeches went so far as to say, okay, you don't have a border. We send people into your nation. And they cause problems. So now the leeches are injecting sickness and illness and cultural change into the bodies of nations. And then a nation like America, who been handcuffed, she was tied down to the bed, and they were just doing what they wanted to her. She broke loose. She broke one arm loose first. Ping. Then she got the other arm loose. Then she untied herself. And then she was beat up, hurt, and she sat up on the bed. They had the door locked. And she was sitting up on the bed like this. And she was going through this process of realizing, well, damn, they violated me. They hurt me. And you know, that Stockholm syndrome thing is what she was going through. She was trying to figure out, how did I get in this situation? And then we get another 4 years where they come in and they like, oh no, we gonna tie you back down. And she's like, no, you're not gonna tie me down. I'm not getting in that van with you. You're not moving me. I'm gonna die right here in this room. And so then she starts to fight, and they throw everything at her. And they throw everything at her. They fill the room up with poisonous gases. They throw fire in the room. They throw wind and water in the room and cold air in the room and lie to her and everything else. And she's just sitting there enduring it. And then one day, America said, I done had enough of this shit. And she decided she was going to stand up. And she put on her shoes. And she pulled out a sword. She pulled out a shield. And they came. And she started slicing and dicing. Yeah. And now that she running around, going full 300, they scared. Yeah. She going full 300. Remember on 300? Well, they was running and they pulled the shields. Give them nothing, take everything from them. That's where America is right now. And now they're scared. And I believe they should be scared. I believe your enemy should be afraid. There's a moment in time when your enemy needs to understand that, bruh, you done stepped in some shit that you can't get yourself out of. But there's a perfect time for bringing them to that understanding. And in the case of these enemies, I think they about to have a wake-up call. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Are y'all following me? Damn, I only got 10 minutes into this video. I've been doing more talking than playing the video.
And then there will be area where there will be fierce competition on technologies, on trade, on digital trade, all this. But we just have to be real political about it.
Oh, well, you talked about technology and linking that to the theme here at Davos. I mean, for artificial intelligence, for generative AI, we've of course been discussing the need for a global framework. The World Economic Forum has been working on trying to put a global framework together. But again, I ask you this, because of national interest, sovereign strategic interest, is a global framework likely, possible, doable?
Can we censor the AI under our power based on what you're seeing? This is why yesterday I did a video and I said, hey, as we go through this disclosure, go and use what's called GetLiner AI. In fact, let me show it to you now. GetLiner. Because I want you all to see this. And I'll show you. Watch this. Find me CIA documents, open source documents on heart attack guns. Searching the web. Military.com, CIA's heart attack gun. CIA.ia.gov, studies in intelligence. Oh, is that a CIA document that's open source? See, this is why they need to have a censoring of the internet. This is why they need to censor, because anyone who has some sense and is smart can now, in a moment, have AI find all truth that they're looking for. I just wanted to prove that to you. And I think I'm going to end the video right here. So for those of you who made it to the end of the video, surprise, you officially got your Stankonian upgrade. You know what I'm saying? You a 1-star Stankonian general now. For those people who didn't make it all the way through to the end, they will have ample opportunity to get their promotion in the Stankonian ambassador's army. But for those of you who have, understand, baby, ain't nothing holding you back from getting to the truth. People be like, GW, I want to find out about crypto. Sit down. Everything is right there at your disposal. You lazy. You're lazy. Don't be trying to get at me because you're lazy. CIA deadly toxins cache by CIA church sound says. Deadly toxins cache by CIA church says. Wow. CIA tells of exotic weapons, electric gun, untraceable poison pellets. Oh. These are all news articles. Poison arms banned. Rockefeller cites need for surveillance. Transit Authority says no one knew about CIA's tests. Oh, you get what I'm saying to you? You ain't got to be asking nobody else to find nothing you want to find. It's all right there for you, pimp. And it's the crazy thing. Watch this. I'm going to take you a little bit deeper. Now, you know what you're doing, computer. Computer. Take me so I can show these people what I want to show them. All right, we back over here, right? Watch this. Don't believe me, just watch. Don't believe me, just watch. Let's just go back to the beginning so you can see me search it from the beginning. No, don't want to do that. I want to go forward. This is getting off the rails, get liner. It's getting off the rails. I'm about to do it like this so you can see. All right, so now there's a Google article archive. So what? Search Google news article repository for old articles on Bigfoot. I'm not a good speller. I'm sorry, guys. It is what it is. It comes along with having a mathematical brain. You really don't give a damn about spelling because you know you can look up spelling words anytime you want in a dictionary. It only went back to 2013, 2023, 2024. The Legend of Bigfoot, military Washington military defense. Wow, that's a placeholder ad. But nonetheless, you can do it. I've done it before. I'm not going to sit here and walk you through the whole thing. But I'm just showing you. You can find what you want to find at any point in time. You heard me? Deuces.